Good evening from the Hostage Diaries, post Super Bowl 47. But of course, I watched in Home Alone star Solitary as a security hostage blanket to back all the I'm stuck here in my vault to back all the currencies that are traded on my ass. Unable to use them though. I'm not allowed to touch anything. Just keep Bubble Boy and Todd Lubitsch in the bubble and distribution channels factory off of me. That seems to be the name of the game. And then deny till he's fucking dead and buried. So you don't have to pay a fucking cent. The Jew down deal of the century. Cheap skateboard. Independent. Proud. Debt bondage pride. Because I'm not allowed to earn anything. Let's go back. I am going to go over several things today. Today, most notably dealing with the pooled communal assets, as it would be. Like, there are all sorts of methods or things that can be utilized. See, most people don't have a lot of inherent energy within them. So it doesn't really matter. It's not applicable to 99.999% of the people out there. 1999 Prince. So, Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette, which I never, of course, have even come close to driving a Corvette. Of course, they always give me the AMC Gremlin. It's been passed down and handed down and beat up in the demolition derby. If I'm lucky there. That's when I even could drive. Now it's just walk. Just bullshit walks. Walk hard, Dewey Cox. So, because everybody knows that, well, it's all, I don't understand it. I mean, these people really are fucking crazy. When history looks back at it, but I'm beautifying them as being, I mean, it's beyond crazy. These people really fucking hate me. I mean, just hate me. I mean, so bad you can't even imagine. They are so proud. But it comes from doping. These dope heads and their body snatchers, what they've done is they've taken a ton of blood transfusions. So they plug into me, run my blood into their body, then they get all the effects from my blood while I'm sitting here as a piece of a jerky shell to be chewed on by the dogs. And then they get all pumped up. But they got to sell. It's all about the hard sell to make it look valid. The reality of it is the hard sell sells the body snatcher trading places, Reversal of Fortune, Sonny Von Bulow, and, you know, it really is, or Jeremy Irons, the man in the Iron Man mask, the JV Iron Man mask, coma there, held back, Rin 10-10 Cup. So, still stuck there playing that, you know, still my life on the public driving range. That's what it's all about. Paying billions and billions for for other people to play, but I'm not allowed. They're teaching me I'm all empathy to anything and sympathetic to all, as the Reverend Beautician would say. So, the source, as I've said so many times, the repetitive nature is, theoretically, this is my estimation. I have nothing else to do. I mean, I honestly, I don't think, I mean, most of my life is over. It's gone. I mean, I will never get it back. You got me. I mean, there's nothing I can do. You fucked me so bad, you can't even, I peaked in high school and college and never did anything else except pain and suffering because my friends were so fucking cool and so fucking important that nothing, I gotta just sit in a room and pan like a little pine, like a little fucking bitch. Oh, I was so lucky. Well, I mean, they must have been so goddamn special, you know. Everything was so fucking, I had so much, which really was, you know, lower echelon of what it was I was getting screwed up. But see, that's the ultimate Jew down brainwashing schematics, is they want me to reflect upon what I had, even though it was way down the level, rather than, you know, going, you know, it really, You know, I could have been on St. Mark's BLM, or I could have been in Europe. No, I'm not allowed there because I'm a hostage. You know, hostages can't leave the country. I have to be anointed by the holy machine. It's yeah, I mean it's really a big pyramid scheme, and they're just desperately guilty to bury the evidence about it. So the pool communal assets. So like I got a fossil wallet because I figured out that I was giving out a lot of money to fossil fuels, obviously, which is based in Richardson, Texas, a Texas A&M graduate, who's Greek, Tom Kartosis. And so, the thing about it is, most people, what I provide is the communal energy and keys. It's not like cash. Cash is kept in separate accounts. Accounts with cash, they're always in separate things. But energy, everybody uses the energy. So I provide like billions of dollars worth of raw energy or unlimited sources of raw energy. But I don't get paid a cent for it. My pimps have learned how to sell it for me, but I don't get one red cent because they've rigged the game to where, well, it was because my body was hacked. It was like I provide $1 billion in this raw energy to this communal pool of these brands. And then the ranks are set. But me providing, most people don't give anything, you know, it's set up. But I give a ton. This is just one of many, many examples of how everything that, it's like my wallet, they drill into my wallet. So I don't even a wallet should help you facilitate life or something like that. But I don't even, you know, I've been lowered so far down the chain in order to bury me because they're desperately reliant because they didn't want to pay us anything. They wanted to Jew down cheap. They didn't want anything. They wanted to be cheap skateboards. They didn't want to pay anything. It was the contest is how cheap can we get it? They think it's some badge of honor to where they screwed me because I think it has to do with New York, the hatred. I mean, these people really fucking hate New York, and they really fucking hate Los Angeles. And I mean, after they've locked me out for 5 or 6 or 7 years, but I mean, the screwing over of the deals is probably, so I'm a beautician for that because they screwed me so bad that anybody that ever got screwed by them damn Yankee Devils, I got screwed a lot worse. So that's Reverend Beautician there. So it's the lowered down. So by forcing me into adverse situations and then unable to facilitate a competent life. Therefore, my rankings in life have been lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered and lowered as low as they can go. Kind of like that Omega hack. I mean, that's really like walking up to somebody, it's a bullet in your fucking head. You're going into you're a vegetative coma state. They kept me alive. Well, I am dead. I mean, my body does not work at all. Nothing works. I mean, my body has been sold for parts. I am in a brain dead coma state bubble. And my pimps or other people have sold my body for other people to use as keys or shares or things like that. So they had to hack me down. They just machete hacked me to death. You know, it was haze and purple haze. You know, I mean, they should, like I said, they could have built an empire, but they wanted to lynch it. They wanted to lynch me for being a wild child. You know, even though that's what I was raised to do. I never had a teacher once try to tell me anything. Never had a counselor try to tell me anything. I never got into trouble, but because they knew I had deep pockets and I was going to pay a ton. They were setting me up to make me pay. That's the old Al Bundy, you know. They wanted to make me pay because they knew I was worth billions and billions of dollars in energy. So they had to come up with a way for me to be a zoo slave and not have any way to do it. But so they had to sell me to other people. So the Louisiana Baton Rouge just really screwed me bad. They tried to shrink me down. They wanted me to play with their little league. They didn't even want me to play in the Baton Rouge big leagues, which is still like 10th flight. They wanted me to play with their pets so they could keep me under control and use my wallet. They didn't care if it almost killed me or how much it cost, so they hacked me so bad and then buried me so they could maintain control of my wallet. And I was literally, my entire life was looking for jobs. I every day I used to go get the paper and then go and fill out. I probably filled out 500 to 1,000 applications in Baton Rouge and New Orleans. That's all I ever did was fill out applications because I never once had any of my friends ever call me. Nobody ever, very rarely would somebody out of the blue and say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on there? Nobody ever did anything like that. I was always ostracized boots, wizard of ostracized boots. I have a feeling people always, or I wonder who knew what and when. But why the hell wouldn't you do something with it? Because obviously, they were just selling their soul to Texas and selling their soul to the Yankees. Well, the Catholics are selling their soul to the Yankees, and the Baptists are selling their soul to Georgia, and then there's other coalitions selling their soul to Texas. And I just got screwed by every angle in between. And now California came in with all the film deals, and then Chicago swooped in because of some other concerns. But when you're making 1996, I made $5,000 a year, $5,000, and I was trying to find jobs. I never just, all this time, all I ever did was I was sleeping on couches or in my car or something. I made $8,000 in 1997. Had a banner year in 1998. I think that's the year I got a job traveling with the Kraft Foods and traveled the country and I made like 6,000 or 7,000. Then I moved to New Orleans. I did a promotion in New Orleans, and they did not want me to play or do anything. They basically wanted me to just sit in a box. For some reason, they hate me doing anything. They want me to just sit in a kennel and wait till I die because they stole my wallet. I pay extreme for everything. Anything good, I pay for. Anything bad, I pay for. Anything, it doesn't matter. I pay because I have deep, deep pockets that I'm not allowed to use. People are picking my pockets. Or like they drill into my wallet or whatever I'm wearing. If they'll figure a loophole around it. You think it's like deflector shield, some bullshit like that. Because I'm not allowed health care or competent, anything because it would hinder those that are screwing me. So I was working for Jim Beam in New Orleans, and my job was to go to bars, 2 bars a night for like 5 or 6 weeks and buy people drinks and hire some models. And it was a good job, and I did a good job with it. I got congratulations and all sorts of things with it. But I'm never allowed anything I do good or I get bad, I get beat by the mob because they just they're addicted to beating me. They're crackheads, they're smackheads, or whatever. So the mob figured out a way to screw me because they want to, I honestly think it goes back to, they want to keep me away from the skirts. The pimps run the bitches. The pimps in Louisiana and Texas run the bitches tight. There's different levels of pimps. There's the pimps and the bitches, the dogs on the low levels. Then there's the thoroughbred. And then, there's the upper level aristocracy, which I'm not even now. My wallet, that's part of the goods, and I'm not allowed anywhere near because I might escape. See, that's why, it's literally, it's very smart, organized crime kidnapping because LSU hacked me into this Omega pyramid scheme that was distributing all this. It was share. We're going to share everybody's body. But I contribute billions of dollars in raw energy. Most people are contributing nothing. And they've got to make me, they're so proud because when you transfer my blood into somebody else, they're body snatching. So then they've got to, in order to transfer the characterization, and then not only they want to hard sell it, they beat me into the ground for whatever reason it is. So it was like I said, I got a job in New Orleans, and I met a girl I started dating, and we used to hang out and party a lot. I was involved. That's when I still thought I was a struggling artist, but I'm not allowed to. All I'm allowed, I peaked, like I said, long ago, and I have to just sit here and wait till I die because somebody stole my identity. It's identity theft. Without it, it's very fancy identity theft. But I am too valuable to let go because I provide all this free energy that I'm not allowed to use. So they just bleed me dry like parasites and leeches, but they're proud because they're addicted to that juice well, the body snatchers think they're trying to, like I said, the hard sell characterization of what I should be, so they have to destroy the source to be proud body snatchers and transfer it out of. So instead of building bridges to New Orleans Garden District families, I got a job at Landry's over there in the lakefront area where I was a fry cook. It wasn't the Landry's chain. It was just a local Landry's place. There were several times I lived in New Orleans, but every time my entire existence was, I got a job like at a pizza place making pizzas once. And then at Landry's, I was there for a few months, 4 or 5 or 6 months. That was when I remember, because when the Hornets moved to New Orleans, that day I got hired to be a fry cook. Woo! Celebrate Cooling the Game. Yeah. Boy, I got hired to be a fry cook for $5 an hour and basically just frying seafood. That's all I did was fry seafood and make po' boys. I get a lot of that French bread. And so I just covered in crap, living on, driving around on the other side of town, but never, I don't think, like I said, I haven't had friends in forever. I don't even remember what a friend is like. It's really bizarre. That's all part of my mental screwing, basically, teetering with my mental complexities in order to, it just doesn't make any sense. They had to know who I was. And you can say, but we're not talking about, if I was making $100,000 a year or something, but I was making $8,000 a year. 1998, I made $13,000. That's what I had. Drove around the country. I worked 6 months, made like $7,000 or $8,000. Then got a job almost immediately in New Orleans, another job. So I had 2 jobs, tour jobs back to back. Then the next year, 1999, Prince, Purple Rain, Little Red Corvette, woo, Minnesota, yeah, Twin Cities, woo, $4,849. Now that is some scratch there, a year. Let's divide that down into a month there. Literally. And I was living on couches. That's literally what I was doing. It was just humiliating. They were trying to ostracize me, bury me, to erase me. They were erasing my body. Not to mention the mental anguish, torture of hoping that I would kill myself. This was all, they've gambled on me being dead by now, obviously. There's no doubt about that. I am supposed to be dead. It's a miracle that I'm alive. But, you can't just keep me as a fucking miniature toy poodle. That's just stupid. I'm going to try to escape. I have to. I was, most of my time in New Orleans, I spent walking around starving. I would go to coffee shops and get a drip coffee and sit there for a few hours. I would go to the library a lot. I know, I should never use the library. I should never use public facilities. But when you're making $4,000 a year, you don't really have much choice. So I'm forced to use the library. I have a few books, and I can't even afford to buy books when you're doing that sort of thing. And I did nothing illegal to make money any of this time. Any of this I was never, that was another motive, is they were trying to drive me into crime because they were trying to build more and more so they could justify what's going. Obviously, it was premeditated. If I did survive, I was going to pay a ton for the little piddly crap that I did. The dazed and confused. Those were varsity compared to what I did, or the Animal House. Those guys were 100 times worse than anything we ever did. I mean, it's that. So they had to make me pay and pay and pay, and so that's part of it. They were trying to drive me to be this horrific nature cut. So extremism. That's what it's all about. Well, the Omega hack. Well, I think what it is, rather than being a numerology, a numerical thing, it's a special hole. That's the K-hole. The Omega Nu hack that I got K-holed into because of the word number. And they are utilizing numbers. And my initiation number, 178, like I said that last time. Dawn of the Dead, number 9, 1978. Animal House, 1978. There's obviously, this was premeditated, and they're unwilling to correct anything about it. I'm not going to get any of the money out of this. I'm going to get the shaft. That's going to be it. So the extremist nature is like an amplification, a negative amplification. It really is, it's an extremist to the right, but in actuality, it would be to the left, because of the nature of alpha being the left, which would be a bear and that sort of mentality. So it's all skewed on that aspect. But then again, it's probably like done in stacks and rows. So any omega is always out. I'm sure that's how they're justifying it. So I'm lower than anybody that wasn't an omega. That's obviously, rather than being just a straight line. It has to be every year, and every year there's a bottom line, that sort of mentality. It's got to be how they're justifying it. Because that programmed my life to be hacked in a certain way and create certain things. That's when my credit started. When you're making, I got kicked out of apartments left and right, because I would get jobs for a while, then I would get fired. I'm a fry cook, but I'm a college graduate. I'm relatively smart, and this whole time I'm reading a ton and tons of material. I'd like to see my list of books from, say, the New Orleans libraries, the Baton Rouge libraries, the Dallas libraries, Aspen, Jackson, where else did I live? And Texas. And because I've probably read 1,000 books, or skimmed a lot of them, but read a lot of them. I was reading a ton at this time. And, and so it's very difficult, and it's just difficult because, well, they were trying to brainwash me into being an impish slave, is what it was trying. These humiliating, horrific jobs for $5 or $6 an hour, when I'm really worth billions of dollars, and not to mention all this hot time, well, they just wanted to bury me. It seems to be. It was just this, and it was based upon this negative amplification, which was affecting me. And so because of this, because I was just so beaten down, it was creating animosity between anything and everything. So nobody, if I would have had, I could never afford friends. I couldn't even afford friends. My entire life was sitting in a room watching TV, if I had cable, or reading. I would go to the park, Audubon Park, a lot, and read books, or go to coffee shops. And maybe 1 or 2 nights a week, I would go to a bar when they had cheap beer drink specials, and I would talk to people, but never had any friends in New Orleans, ever. And I should have, because I'm Louis, but I didn't go to church either, because I was kind of St. Thomas More really fucked me bad when I look back, and they were really mean little fucking shitty kids. Well, the thing is, I wasn't a made man, because my mother comes from Mississippi. They weren't smart enough. See, that's another reason. I was always stuck in the little leagues because in the localized neighborhoods in the hoods. So they didn't care, they didn't think anything about building bridges. All they wanted to do was fuck me and beat me, that sort of mentality. So they didn't care. I mean, the local yokels were always the ones that were trying to put the yoke on me and drag me around to plow their fields for credibility points, plug into me or something like that. They didn't have any concept of building an empire. And the country clubs did nothing with me. They should have. They didn't realize what they were. I don't know if they realized or not, or had a clue. Somebody had to have had a clue, especially after everybody's all American and all the. I mean, obviously there were a lot of clues there. The toy, Brewster's Millions, all this, but nobody did anything. Nobody ever called me. I guess I had to beat down the door. I don't understand what the obsession is with making me beg to be a part of it. Does that make people feel, it's beyond. I mean, these stupid fucking retarded cats, I guess. The mentality of these fucking cool fucking cats, I guess. I don't understand it. So, the body snatchers and their hard sell. Well, they had plugged into me enough to where they didn't really need me anymore. They stole my body. They stole my wallet, so then they just threw me out and get the fuck out. We stole your wallet. They had the rest of my family all circulation. And this whole time, that's why I was making no money. Is they wanted me, they were trying to set me up. See, I am too hard to handle, as they would say. So they wanted me dead and buried, and so they could easily control my cousins and my brother and sister. They could easily control a lot easier than they could control me. And so that's why they were desperately trying to bury me. That's why I never got a good job, hardly ever. Yeah, if I did get a good job, I would get fired almost immediately. It happened several times. When the last time I left Baton Rouge, I got a DUI, and I got fired from the job I had waiting tables, which is a shitty job. And then I got a job offer in. I did all the community service work, went to all the classes. I paid as much as I could. I didn't have much money. I went to all the classes, did everything. I mean, it was terrible. I was not an alcoholic by any stretch of it. I was drinking 2 or 3 beers a night, like 2 or 3 nights a week. That's it. Maybe a glass of wine after work. That's not an alcoholic. Compared if they would have back in college, maybe I was. So I got a job at Fleming's was opening up, and I went and studied my ass off for the test because they had a big test, detailed test about wines and spirits and all this stuff. I had to be a bartender, and it was right there. I could have probably made $200 a night on weekends, which I would have paid off all my tickets easily. But I'm not allowed, like I said. They don't want me. They want me to be a little leaguer. They wanted me to be a little. They didn't want me in the competition. They didn't want Louis. Baton Rouge fucking hate. Baton Rouge is the worst fucking enemy of the state of Louisiana. And well, they've turned LSU into this factory. I mean, they've screwed. Look at Louisiana is a joke compared to most states because of Baton Rouge and New Orleans, which are totally just total opposite, separate entities. They are just so goddamn proud and cool. They're fucking little crawdads is what they are. I mean, they got nothing there. They were, all Louisiana is chemical plants, pretty much. Industrial or fucking lawyers. That's about it. Lawyers or industrial or insurance. That's about it. There's nothing else. They never built they never built a lot of anything else. Anything that did jump ship because of all these crazy ass little league crawdads. That, I mean, they can't get beyond the whole schematic of crawdads. It just doesn't seem. But they're sportsmen paradise, so they always land on their feet because they can always go hunting and fishing. Another reason why I'm not allowed to hunt and fish. Not allowed to do anything. Not allowed to have pets. I've always wanted a dog. My entire life, I have wanted a dog. I've never had one. I've had girlfriends with dogs, which was great. Never been allowed to have one. Well, it's hard to have a dog when you're living in the car and you can't afford to feed yourself. Hardly ever. And I've had cats on a few occasions. They're a little bit easier. I don't even like a cat now, but I'm not allowed. They want me to suffer the most, the omega hell. So yeah, Baton Rouge, I get this job at Fleming's bartending, which would have been great. Would have probably met a lot of people. But I went through the whole training and everything right around the grand opening. Oh, I even turned down a job offer. I got a job offer in Breckenridge managing a restaurant. So when I got the job at Fleming's, I told Breckenridge through the Bell Corporation I couldn't take it because I had this job. So I was going to try to pay off all these tickets. Not allowed to. So I get fired right after I turned down the Breckenridge job. Of course, my car's barely running this whole time because, I'm not ever allowed to. They wanted me to, bullshit walks. That's what they were calling bullshit on me. They wanted me to walk like a crawdad. Prove they weren't. They were tough. I mean, these people have really fucking nut jobs here. I mean, we're talking about throwing away billions of dollars just so they can be the fucking toughest kids on the block, crawdads. So, then I get a job, general manager of a bar downtown. It's a music club. Worked there for a few days. It was and I had some good ideas. And it wasn't very busy or anything. I was going to try to work into it as a blues club. This was right after I get fired at the other place. Worked there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And there's none of these jobs. You can't do anything in a week or 2 weeks to screw up that bad. You should, you know what I mean? We're talking about a general manager's position here of a club that didn't, it was just, I don't understand it. Obviously, I think what was happening was I was a known commodity. So they would figure out somehow I would have made I think my salary was $35,000 a year to be GM of this blues club in an area that had a few new clubs downtown. Got fired after 2 weeks. So then my car blows up, and then I luckily got a job. I ended up getting evicted from the apartment I had. That was another one of those hacks to the old credit report to lower me even lower down there. And I got a job in Jackson Hole at Grand Teton, and so I got somebody to buy me a bus ticket and got out there and lasted long enough to save up a few $1,000s before I got fired there. The thing is, the mob figures out who I am because I am a known commodity. And obviously, and people are trying to they got these rackets set up. So that's why I am stalked. I am stalked to be kept small. So they watch me. And it's not like somebody's going to walk up. I could sell a book $100,000. I escape. But if you have a few $1,000s, you're relatively easy to stalk. And this is what do they have to do? The mob has wasted my entire life. My life is virtually over. I peaked in high school. Ha ha, Al Bundy, that's a beautician for that. And did nothing with billions of dollars worth of potential except I'm a hostage for a forgery pyramid scam. So that's what it's all about. They're protecting these scams through these different factions of the mob. That's my theoretical interpretation of what it is. So they had to shrink me down as small as possible to be contained. And it's always about poor judgment as manipulation of it's just bizarre because I think it's energy that skews this sort of thing, but I think there is a cohesive effort. There has been, obviously, in certain sectors, as a known commodity to bury my body because of hacks and it's like I said, they figure out ways to. I can't protect myself. I'm exposed, and I'm worth a lot if they can plug into me. So the few things that I can afford to buy, there are people that are surrounding me that are using my wallet that can afford to hack it in order to distribute. So any way they'll find loopholes out of my parasite medication, or they'll find loopholes. Every bite of food I take goes to somebody else. I'm eating for somebody else. My body gets nothing. It's in order to keep me shrunk as in a cage, in order to be contained, to be able to protect those that are utilizing my influence. I mean, it's just so bizarre. You can't even, it's just windows of exploitation. And this goes back to Texas really screwed me. Well, when we moved out there for high school, my father said, stay here, do not go out there. And I didn't understand it. Plus, my mother is crazy, obviously. She's a nut job. And that's clearly apparent. I didn't have a choice, basically. She could have caught it. She's crazy. She really is. And she's got a bunch of wacko followers, as you'll see these fucking psychopathics here in Georgia, who, they just want me to sit here and waste my life away because they're so fucking crazy that when I was in high school and I used to go out on Friday night lights and party, and my mother and my sister weren't old enough yet, so they couldn't go out and do anything, or my sister had to go with babysitters. I'm literally being paid back for that now, for like 10 years of it. Literally. They would rather waste my entire life to prove that they are superior. They don't give a fuck about anything. They are selfish fucking pigs. That's all they are. Selfish fucking pigs, in my estimation. They could care less. Intervention. I have been sober as a judge for a decade. I could use a life intervention, trying to figure out a way to. I put this sign up, hung this in the window for 4 or 5 months. It's got water stains. Creative consultant IP. It's been hanging on my wall for a year, 6 months now. I've passed these out. I put 10, 15 ads on Craigslist. Obviously, I'm a known commodity because people obviously at certain levels know who I am. I don't know who. They try to bury me or keep me away from them. It's like run away so they don't have to be infected with guilt, because they're trying to just run away, deny, ostracize, boots. Organizational skills, strategic corporate planning, editorial, plot consulting. I've got 10,000 pages of writing. I've got I could very easily, with all this evidence, turn it into several books and do something. Nothing. I can't even get a phone call from anyone in my family. Nobody. No friends. Nothing. Just completely ignored. Just locked here in a fucking box in Georgia to be a reverent beautician because Ham Huizinga started Waste Management, so I got for Sanford and fuck you, son. That's how fucking stupid these goddamn people are. I gotta waste my life to be a beautician because I'm like the little drummer boy. That's all I can give because they stole my fucking wallet. Are you fucking kidding me? They wanted this to be a hard game. This is all a game in my theoretical estimation. Want me to go out and hunt, teach me to hunt, be a playboy hunter, We're retarded. We're sitting here with $1 billion in the bank, but they want me to go out and beg for fucking scraps because they're too goddamn stupid to open our fucking wallets. That's how fucking crazy this is, because they'd rather give our money away. We're the biggest fucking donors in the history of the world. They give so much away that I am starving to death. I haven't had a date in 7 years. I haven't had a girlfriend in like 12 years. The funny part, the Bachelor. Zito means bachelor. Drusilla, seafood. Deborah Winger was Drusilla. And obviously the Deborah Winger from Sissy, from Urban Cowboy, Mickey Gillies, and Bud, John Travolta, the JT, Todd Lubitsch, Bubble Boy, bitches. Oh, yeah, so The Bachelor, Sean Lowe. Oh, what? They just fucking hate me so bad. It's unbelievable. I wish he would just let me go. Leave the fucking country. You never have to see me again. But they don't want to get that. They want to destroy me. They want me to, if they will never they are so fucking crazy. You can't even imagine. We're not going to give away anything of value, so they will bury me and fucking kill me. Make me sit in a fucking box for years and years and years and waste until nobody wants me to prove that they weren't fucking wrong? I mean, these fucking cunts are so crazy you can't even imagine. Just deny, run, and hide. I mean, that's the entirety of my life. I mean, you can't even imagine. I mean, history is going to be, but I'm going to beautify history. I mean, literally, there's a fight to bury me, my story, because it is so stupid. And I mean, it's so stupid you can't even imagine. And they worship diplomas. Well, see, I provide energy to those diplomas, but mine got taken away because I was hacked so bad to handicap me to play with their fucking pets. I mean, it's these stupid things that they worship. Rather than a line item veto, they want to inflict the worst upon me. Rather than being smart and trying to do anything, they got to inflict the worst upon me. And it goes back to possessions, because my entire life was taken away. I have nothing left. No toys, no friends, nothing. Because they're so fucking special, I have to think about it. I don't know. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. It's so strange. But now, I mean, I'm beyond. I mean, like I said, what can you do when you're making $5,000 a year or $9,000 a year? I mean, that's not even that's $9,000 a year, and I made. And this was post-college. 9,000, 5,000, 8,000, 13,000, 4,000, 7,000, 14,000 was the year 2001 when I had a job. I got to go to Glacier. That was a good job, actually. I paid tons for that because I was up in it. I acted like I was varsity, so they humiliated the shit out of me, beat me down. I had to go. That's right after that, I spent like that's when I got just really screwed bad. They just want to, for some reason, to keep me so I mean, anything, they won't let me get big. They won't let me grow up because they might have to pay for the stolen wallet. They're addicted to my stolen wallet. It's identity theft forgery. Without a doubt, it's identity. Doesn't this sound like my identity's been hacked to death? I mean, we're talking about, I'm a normal guy. I've always had conversation skills to a degree, but I mean, I'm just the worst opportunities. Like I said, if I ever did have a good job, I got attacked and fired almost immediately. 7,000, 5,000, 8,000. Then when I moved to Jackson, 16,000, but I was paying like $800 a month of rent, plus another $200 for bills. 17, 26, 17. Those were in Jackson and Aspen, which is two of the most expensive places in the world to live, and that's barely above the poverty line. So we're talking about prime of my life, my major league years, Deion Sanders prime time. I am Bo Jackson. Bo knows, Auburn, of course. My nickname was Bo the whole time. The Bo Rivage, built in 1999, Prince. I made $4,800 there. Woo! Can you even imagine what it's like? That's not even $500 a month. That's $125 a week. Of course, I'm living on couches, or I have to go stay. Literally living on couch. You can't even afford an apartment. 8,000. That's like $300 a week. No, wait. 8,000 a year is divided by 12 is about 800 a month. Divided by 4 is about $200 a week. I mean, come on. And if you have any rent at all, I mean, it's nothing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I don't get it. But I mean, like I said, I just will never. Oh, well, they were trying to to bury my bodies because they knew they had to destroy my family because I had a bunch of cousins. I was the oldest. So they had a time period before they had to destroy me and get me out of the way so my cousins could come in. They had to impregnate some hostages. And by keeping me so poor and beat down that I was embarrassed most of my life that I just didn't even do anything except, I mean, what do you do? I couldn't do anything. I guess they wanted me to go out and learn how to hustle and beg. That's all I can figure. And I'm not good at hustling and begging. I got a management degree, but I have nothing to manage. When I've had things to manage, I do all right at them, even though, I'm good at strategy and managing people. Not allowed. Can't be. If I'm good at anything, I'm not allowed to do it. I've got to do things that I'm bad at and then if I get good at something I'm bad at, I lose the job because I'm not allowed to be good at anything. I have to start over and do something that I'm bad at. That sort of mentality. It's just beyond. I mean, and it's got to be because you've got a bunch of high-powered people who are using my body and they have pride because they stole my blood, and so therefore they can't understand that they are reliant, they hate the fact that they are reliant upon a dope and blood transfusion, body snatchers sort of mentality. So they make me pay because of pride. In my estimation, they really hate the fact because I respect doctors, I respect scientists, I respect all of these people, but it's not, I wouldn't devote my fucking life. I wouldn't have, believe me, I would have figured out another way. I would have built a big, like the Pennington Biomedical Center. I would have built an Aspen Institute. I would have built a South by Southwest Festival in New Orleans or Baton Rouge. But no, they wanted to screw me. They wanted a luncheon. They wanted me, they were so proud and they didn't want to build anything. They wanted time and they wanted me to be a beautician. That's what it is, time and beautician. That's all I've ever been.